Hey, what's going on, Jam fam? So it's the day after Brawl Talk that I'm recording this, and I've probably rewatched Brawl Talk about 4 or 5 times, and I've jotted down all my notes about it, and I'm ready to go over my wins and losses. Now, we haven't gotten any sneak peeks of the update yet, but I don't think any of those sneak peeks are really going to sway too much of my vote one way or the other. So I am confident in making this video, and I do want to talk about like what I like and what I dislike and go really more in depth of it as opposed to what I did in the reaction video, because that's obviously just a blind react video. I can't really talk too much about everything, and explaining myself in comments is just way too hard. So we're going to put everything down in this video here. Now, I got a lot of W's for this update because it's honestly a solid update. There's really not too much to hate on it, but there are a couple of things that I do not like. One of them's kind of small, one of them's pretty big, and I don't think they're ever going to be able to fix that one, but we'll talk about that in the middle of the video. The big one's going to be in the middle of the video. The small one's going to be towards the end because that one's fixable. Anyway, let me know what you like about this update. Let me know what you don't like about this update. And also, if you agree or disagree with anything, let me know down in the comments as well. And if you're new and you enjoy my rambling, make sure you leave a like and you subscribe to the channel. Anyway, let's get into it. All right, my first W, and it's probably a bigger W for the community on the whole rather than for me personally, but they are adding duels permanently to the game eventually. They slid it in right at the very end. They said they're making 7 new maps for duels in preparation for it being added permanently to the game. Now, I'm not personally a really big duels player, but it is something that the community has been asking for a long time. Having more modes gives people more ways to push, and it's a solo mode, so if you don't want to play with randoms and you don't want to deal with teaming, you can go and play this mode. Honestly, I don't see any huge drawbacks to this other than maybe you know, being forced to play it when you have a quest or something, but we do have a reroll feature now, so if you do have the Brawl Pass, or even if you want to use your 1 weekly reroll, you can reroll your duel quest. So honestly, there's like very few drawbacks to having this added permanently, and it's just another mode to play. So yeah, overall, big W for me. All right, the next big win from this update is going to be the 80 gem refund on the Brawl Pass. Whether you bought it already or you plan on buying it after the update, you're still going to get the 80 gem refund. And this is super generous on Supercell. It's basically a half off Brawl Pass. So there's really no reason to not buy it if you can afford it. You should pick up this Brawl Pass. And honestly, this Brawl Pass is probably one of the better ones to do this on. You get Buster, who's basically free trophies right now. You can push him as far as you possibly can with basically little to no struggle at all. And on top of that, you're still getting 2 skins, you're getting pins, you're getting sprays. And if you get it before the update, you get boxes, and I think you might get the credits. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but you do get credits in the store from it as well, so you get gems and credits. So overall, I don't see a reason to not pick up this Brawl Pass for half off. All right, to continue the praise a little bit more, we're getting 3 brawlers in this update, and I'm going to break each brawler down individually, and to kick things off with that, we're going to start with Mandy, the chromatic brawler for the next season. Mandy, honestly, in my book, is a W. Now, obviously, Mandy is a sharpshooter brawler, and beside her being a sharpshooter brawler coming out of the Brawl Pass for like the 3rd or the 4th time, I think that she's overall going to be a really good brawler. Obviously, being a sharpshooter, she has really good range, and if you're in a really bushy map, you can stand still and get her range to be even longer. I think that's a little gimmicky, but it'll work on some maps for sure. And then on top of that, she has a devastating super. It's going to be a little tricky to use because there is that super long delay, but honestly, I think one of her star powers is probably going to be to shorten that delay so she can shoot off her super a little bit quicker, but it does a ton of damage, and if you get used to the delay on it, you can probably guarantee a kill on a lot of sharpshooter brawlers, especially if you're in a bush and you surprise somebody. I think overall she's going to be a lot of fun to play, and if you like sharpshooter brawlers, then I don't see a reason to not play her. Plus, chromatic brawlers are almost always broken, so she's probably going to be strong on release as well. All right, let's move on to Chester, and Chester is going to be my first L for this update. I am not a fan of Chester at all. I think he's going to be a very bad brawler in my honest opinion. His main attack's really cool. I like that it changes from like 1 projectile to 2 to 3, and it goes into like a more cone fashion. I think that's a really cool mechanic, and you almost have to play around him like a shotgunner. You can't get too close, otherwise he's just gonna do a ton of damage to you. I think that's a really interesting mechanic, but the thing that I really don't like about him is gonna be his super. Now, it is a super unique mechanic. I'm not gonna deny that at all. Obviously, he's designed around this mechanic, but I feel like having 5 different supers that you have to rotate through to try to like progress and try to get back to your like your big bomb or whatever, for example, I feel like that's going to make him super clunky to play, and it's going to put you in positions where you'd rather have this super, but the next one coming up in your rotation is going to be this super. And I feel like that is not something you can really play around, especially on like a competitive level. Not that any of us are competitive players, but I feel like that's really going to hurt his viability in the meta. He might be fun to play on ladder, but in terms of like overall try-hard sweat meta, I feel like he's going to suffer because of that. Now, there are 2 really big workarounds to this, but I don't know if they're actually going to do it. One is that they just totally remove a couple of the supers. If they put it on like 3 different super rotation, then I think it's a lot easier to play around and it makes him a lot more viable. And the other option is to make it so that his super is very easy to charge, but that's really going to make him a really broken brawler. If he charges his super in like 1 or 2 shots and he's constantly able to pump out bombs and slows and heals, then he's just going to be super obnoxious to play against, and I don't think that is a better solution at all. And I honestly don't see them removing any of his like supers in his rotation. So honestly, I don't think it's going to be very good for the game overall. I don't think he's ever really going to be a very good brawler. And like I said, I'm not a fan of Chester at all. I feel like he's just going to be like another brawler that we add, we push, and then we move on from. But enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about Gray. And I think Gray is probably my favorite brawler coming out of this update. All right, first thing I like about Gray is that he's essentially a free mythic brawler for every player. All you got to do is get that one quest done. Whatever that quest is, we don't know the specifics of it yet, but even if it's killed like 100 people, all you got to do is grind it out before the end of the quest, and you'll unlock him. He's essentially going to be our Christmas gift for this season, and there's no reason why anybody who's playing right now shouldn't unlock him for very easily, and you don't have to use credits on him. So overall, big W right there, right off the bat. Next up, his kit just looks really cool. Honestly, he does really good damage. It's like just shy of 1600 damage on his main attack, and it's kind of like sniper mid-range brawler range. So you're definitely going to have uses for him, and he does good enough damage to take out most brawlers within 3 shots. Obviously, you're going to struggle against like the higher HP brawlers, 4500 and up. You're going to have to do like 5 to 6 shots on them, but that's beside the point. But I think the big thing I really like about Gray is the utility on his super. It's a super that once you put down once, if you put it in the right spot, you never really need to worry about it too much after that. And since the enemies look like they can't really use the super, honestly, it's just a solid, like, great utility, great use. I think overall, Gray is going to be a lot of fun to play, and I think he's going to find a really good place in certain metas like Brawl Ball and Gem Grab to try to help you get back up the lane really quick. Really, the only thing I don't like about Gray is his name. Honestly, it's a super lazy name. I don't understand why they didn't just name him like Charlie or Charles or something like that after the Charlie Chaplin inspiration, like I said in my Brawl Talk React. Gray is just a lazy name. It's like, well, this brawler's Gray, so let's call him Gray. But overall, I think Gray's a big W. I'm a big fan of him. Let me know what you think about Gray down in the comments. All right, how are we this far in the video? And I have not talked about the removal of boxes yet. That is the question that everyone is asking. And honestly, I don't know. But I wanted to save it for the end. And to me, boxes being removed from the game is overall a huge, huge W. It is a great change to the game, and I pretty much have no complaints about it other than one thing. But let's talk about the good things coming from the box removal. So, as I've said many times at this point, choosing what brawlers you unlock, in my opinion, is probably one of the best moves they could have made to the entire game. Honestly, like, it keeps people more engaged. You don't have to worry about unlocking brawlers you're not interested in until you're ready to just use them as piggy banks. And, like, if you want to unlock BB right away, you can just beeline right to BB, get her, and then you can main her for the rest of the game if you really want to play that way. Anything to increase the customization of your account and make it feel more like your account is honestly a good thing in my opinion. Removing randomness is probably one of the best calls they could have made. And on top of that, it doesn't seem like it's going to take too long to unlock all your next brawlers. Even the legendary brawlers, I just went and double checked in Brawl Talk, are only 3,800 tokens to actually end up unlocking. So even that's not that expensive. And it seems like they're going to give us enough credits to unlock at a very good rate. You're going to be able to get them out of the trophy road. You're going to get them out of the Brawl Pass. They're going to give us quests. You're going to be able to get them out of the store. I think overall, credits are going to drop pretty, not quite like buckets, but I think they're going to drop at a very good rate. Now, I will say that new players benefit a lot more from this than us current veteran players who have most of the brawlers or all the brawlers unlocked currently. I do actually want to start a new account and see how long it takes me to unlock my first legendary, but honestly, that's not really a downside. Keeping new players interested in the game for longer is always the goal of any developer, and I think they nailed it with this one, honestly. So yeah, overall, I don't see any huge drawbacks to the removal of boxes, except for one thing, and that's going to be fame. I know, this is going to be a hot take, but to me, fame is a major L. I do not like fame in its current state at all right now. Now, I understand that a lot of games have a reward system for maxed out players that kind of prestiges their account, whatever. I get it. That's what they're trying to do with this fame mechanic. But the thing I don't like about fame, and I don't understand why they did this, is there's literally no reward for it right now. There's no reason to accumulate fame for any player that already has all the brawlers. There's no benefits. And if you don't like me saying it, let Kairos Time explain it for you.
right? Like, this is actually really awesome. Now, currently, your fame rank will only be visible on your profile page, but they did say that it will be visible in the places in the future. Like, just imagine if you started a match and your fame rank popped up, and immediately, like, the players know, oh, this guy has every brawler maxed out, or has been playing for a long time. Like, this guy plays Brawl Stars, right? That's actually really cool. That's really awesome.
The man literally just says that it shows up on your profile. This guy's cool. He plays Brawl Stars. Duh, he plays Brawl Stars. Everybody who plays Brawl Stars plays Brawl Stars. Like, it makes no sense. Kairos Time purposely tried to put on a positive voice to make it seem better than it actually is, because that's his job. But that's not my job. I'm not a full-time content creator. This, to me, is not a good addition right now. Now, notice how I said right now at the end of that sentence. That's because they will eventually be able to add things to this. They'll be able to add pins, skins, profile pictures, maybe even like something cool like an aura around your brawler or something like that. Any of those things could be cool additions to the fame system. But to pump it out right now with nothing behind it makes it pointless to claim your credits. You might as well just let your credits sit there in your Brawl Pass, in your Trophy Road, whatever, until you actually have a use for them, because accumulating fame has no benefit to you right now. So for that reason, I have to say fame is an L currently. Now, when they do add things to it, it won't be an L. It'll be a W, because, you know, you'll be able to have benefits from collecting all your fame. But there's nothing to it right now, so I have to say it's an L. All right, overall, I think this is probably one of the best updates we could have asked for in the game. I think they nailed it with the box removal, other than fame, but eventually they'll fix fame. They'll add stuff to it and make it have a purpose in the game. But as of right now, it just doesn't have a purpose, and that's fine. And on top of that, they added 3 brawlers. 2 out of the 3 I think are going to be great. Chester specifically, I don't think is really ever going to be viable, just because his super is going to be super hard to play around. He might be a fun brawler, like I said, to play on ladder, but I don't think competitively or try hard sweat-wise in like Club League or Power League, I don't think you're ever really going to want to play Chester, just because he's too much of a liability. And on top of that, they're giving us a half-off Brawl Pass. Huge W. I don't think anyone's going to argue about that. And on top of that, they even announced that Duels is getting added permanently. So overall, I think there's like no major drawback to this update other than maybe Chester being a bad brawler. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know what you think about this update. What do you like? What do you dislike? And let me know what you think about my takes down in the comments. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.